All good in the back. Good deal. Coach, whenever you're ready.
Again, after evaluating the film, very proud of our team, especially the way we competed in the game. I thought we persevered in a lot of different areas. I thought we grew in some areas, and hopefully we can carry that on in the future of how we prepare, how we play, and our mindset to understand the reasons to have success. I thought all three phases contributed very highly in the win and had some tough moments, which, when you play a great opponent, they had their plays against our offense, defense, and special teams too. But I thought overall, I thought we got out to a good start, which I thought was very important for our guys in the game early, that we gained confidence in being able to move the ball and get some stops in what we did, which I think was very important both sides with the young players. And I think that's part of what you're starting to see. I said, with the number of guys that we've had to play because of injuries, and, you start playing those guys in the game 7, 8, 9, 10 when you have injuries late in the year, they've had different practices, even though they haven't had playing time, but they've understand the preparation and how to do things. When you do it in the beginning of a year with young guys, sometimes that's very difficult. And sometimes then you have to get playing time and understanding the level of what you have to compete at week in, week out. And I think that's what you're starting to see. Some of our young guys are growing. We're getting better. And they're understanding the standard at which they have to play to have success. And I think on offense, defense, all the young guys should play, and even special teams. And so we're growing. Now, there's a lot of growing still left to do because there's still a lot of mistakes out there on that field in that game. We played and won the football game and all that. But there's still a lot of things we got to clean up in what we're doing. But in the game itself, I thought our defense was very aggressive. I thought we affected the quarterback very well, especially in the first half. I think we were able to get pressures. Mike did a good job of dialing up pressures, and our guys getting home and affecting the quarterback, moving him off his spot, got 4 or 5 sacks, but also got hits on the quarterback, clean hits that affected him in throws and things that matter. You have to be able to affect the quarterback. I thought we played the run for the most part really well, especially early. I mean, they had some runs, misfit a thing or two here and there, but thought we were physical at the line of scrimmage. I thought our young guys in the secondary competed very well in coverages, contested balls, and I think we did a tremendous job in the red zone, tight zone. Even when they moved the ball, we were able to hold to non-touchdowns to be able to kick field goals. We got a critical turnover in the end zone on a great pick on a 3rd down by Damani that was able to make that play. So I was very happy there. I thought late in the game, I thought we really played really good football up until about the time it was 31-27. Then we got a little bit the process of how to do things and playing the next play, had a couple missed assignments there that we didn't play as clean as we had been early, even though they still moved the ball. But our defense competed really hard in the game, and I think they played and made a big difference in the game. And then the critical 2-minute stop at the end of the game, being able to get a great stop right there to get a 3 and out to leave us over 2 minutes on the clock, to be able to come down in 2 minutes. And when I talk about offense right here, I thought that was, learning to play the critical points in the game very well. And one of the few times after a big momentum swing, you were able to come back and do that. And I thought the other thing in the game, we did that in the game, offensively, defensively, and special teams. When they hit momentum, at times they had a little run there in the third quarter, but most of the time we were able to match, or we were going back and forth in the things we did. I thought offensively, I thought we did a good job up front. We had, you got 2 true freshmen playing and Blake Traynor playing a new position, and what he's doing right there at guard, we moved him into guard a little bit to help with some depth. And those guys, I thought, battled and were very physical up front. I think we can give up a sack if I'm not mistaken. I didn't want to. That was right. There wasn't one. There's a couple pressures and things we had, but not to give up a sack against some guys that can really rush and they blitz and bring a lot of pressures. I thought our running backs and tight ends did an excellent job in the chipping game that helped those guys to slow down the rush and picking up blitzes, and what we did, which allowed our quarterback to have cleaner pockets to be able to stand and be able to make throws and do the things we had to do there. I thought the running game, even though the numbers weren't outstanding but we were able to run the ball in critical times, short yardage situations at the beginning of the game to keep balance in the red zone and the tight zone. We were able to run the football when you have the times when you really have to run the football. Those are the occasions when you do. We were able to do that. Our guys did a great job. Our backs, I thought, Chain and Spiller were excellent in the game in all phases, whether it was catching, blocking, running. I thought they competed very well. And there's still some runs they left out there. And they're not in a bad thing, just a couple cuts that really could have been clean. But that happens when you play good people and things like that. I thought our tight end, Wiedemeyer, was excellent. Did a great job in the blocking game, especially chipping and protection, and got vertical down the field. And could have hit him a couple more times, but we didn't. We have found other guys. But I thought he keeps playing better and better. I thought our receivers did a really good job. I thought Nice did a really nice job in the game, different parts of the game. Of course, he scored 2 touchdowns, but just there, I thought 5. Preston was good. I thought Moose, when he was in the game, I thought 1. Demas really had a couple nice catches in the game that really complimented us very well. Getting two back out there, Chase out there, and getting him back healthy was good in the game. Getting him playing, we got to get him back in the mix and get going there. And I thought Zach played one of his better. I mean, he started hot, and of course, everybody wanted to love him and praise him. But listen, he did a good job of keeping his eyes up. He read coverage. He got the ball out. He was being decisive on his decisions. He was throwing the football well. We had a good mix of run and pass and the balance. And then he played with great toughness. He competed in the game. He got banged. He got bruised. He got off the mat. Didn't know he threw a touchdown when he got banged up. Come back. He found out everything was fine with his leg. He great. Comes back out, leads us to a 2-minute drive. I'm very happy for him to stay in the saddle, to stay in there. And like I said, when you're a quarterback, you get all the glory and all the blame. And right now, when he was getting all the blame, it wasn't true. And right now, he's getting all the glory. It's not true. You got to, again, eliminate the clutter. Block it out. Come back and practice and prepare like you did last week and do the things you got to do to be able to go play. And that's important. I thought special teams, thought a punter did a really nice job in the game. The return game, in the punt return, we didn't get many chances in that regard. Unfortunately, we gave up a block punt, which was a missed choice. We had the right blocking scheme. We made a mistake in who we picked up coming through and made a bad choice and allowed them to do it. We knew what the pressure was, and that was critical. We can't have a block punt and win a game. The odds of that are around 13 to 15%. They're not very high when you get a punt block, especially for a touchdown that you win a game. We're able to do that. But we were able to answer up in a minute. I'll talk about that in a minute. But we've got to get that fixed. We know exactly why it happened. We got it fixed at the time on the sideline and got that correct, but that can't happen. Again, you give a chain one chance, and he hit it. But the more important thing, we blocked it well. We give him the seam. We got the hat on the hat. We've gotten better and better. And we've been close the last couple of weeks. And, of course, he's one of those guys, when he gets grass, he can run. And that was very critical in the game. Seth was outstanding. Of course, he hit field goals and hit his big kick and did what he had to do at the end of the game. Was very critical, being hit at a critical time and one of the biggest moments in his life, and very happy for him and the work we've done. But there's still a lot of things in our cover game and things that we got to get cleaned up and what we do special teams. But the important thing is now this game's over with. Tired of talking about it. It's over. I understand why we had success. Now, these things, the lessons we've learned, they're wasted lessons unless we carry them on to this week. Missouri is a very tough place to play. They're an outstanding opponent. And what they do, they play very good at their place. They're they play really well at home. Always have. You're up there at an 11 o'clock game in the morning. You have to get going. Very good. And early in the game, they're going to be right there ready for us, waiting for us to knock us off. And like I say, right now, this is the perfect thing, as Nick said last game. This is a trap game. You listen to all the stuff all week and you live in the past. That's over with, man. That's over with. Yesterday. Today is all Missouri. We got to play well. And those things don't mean things if you don't be able to carry it on and learn from your lessons and carry into the next week. And we play it 1 week at a time, one game at a time, and the reason that we have success. And that's going to be our challenge, and that's going to be the thought going forward right now. So, questions?
Start with Brent and then Sam on the aisle.
Coach, could you take us back to, I'm just kidding. Antonio Johnson told us in his recruitment that he appreciated how the coaching staff stuck with him through the highs and lows. What do you recall about that in terms of his—
Well, everybody wanted him. And there was people, commitments here, commitments there, people getting him to commit there. And those wars now are relentless. And you got to trust, you got to believe, and you got to stay true to just like a game. There's ups, there's downs, you're ahead, you're behind, you're way up. Oh, we screwed, somehow somebody else slipped up there. There's two mistakes, not mistakes, but somebody slips in there. Recruiting is very much like a game. And it's a competition. And it's a competition of the mental warfare to understand, to get somebody to understand what you can do for them, how you can do it, and how you can develop them personally, educationally and athletically, and then life after ball. And I think he made a great choice with this place, but it was a challenge, that's for sure, especially for a guy from St. Louis who hasn't been around here.
I don't know if you knew this, but you brought cousins together too. Isaiah Spiller said he and Antonio are cousins, and they didn't realize it till they got here.
No, so, hey, God works in funny ways.
There you go. Last one for you. A-Chain, do you encourage him to bring it out more, maybe even from the end zone based on what he can do?
I mean, I still, listen, you make decisions for the right reason. You're back here 3 or 4 or 5 yards deep, you don't need to. When you start, listen, the reasons for success got to change. Your decision making, you can't splurge things. There may be a situation of a game that gives him a chance at the end of a game, maybe by the way the flow of a game goes. But no, you keep making things the right way and making choices the right way.
Left side on the aisle, Sam.
Hey, Jimbo, a couple housekeeping items. I know Zach came back in the game, but any lingering issues with the leg for him?
No, he should be practicing today.
Okay. And then what's Jameer Johnson's status this week?
Who'd he say?
Jameer Johnson.
He should be playing.
Okay.
I mean, he's ready to play.
And the way you mentioned the offensive line, you guys obviously had a lot of success. You had a lot of different combinations. Do you look at what you guys did on Saturday and say, hey, we're going to stick with this combination as it was?
Yeah, and then how we practice and what the game goes through and how matchups for other teams come forward. That's the plan right now.
Down front, Travis.
I'll let you know by minute by minute.
To the left.
along the same lines, I think CBS in the beginning of the report said that you don't expect Haynes King to come back this season. Is that true?
I don't know that. Listen, here's what I'm going to say. Where's my crystal ball? I'm gonna look. You ever see that one you shake and it's got all the snow falling out of it? Mine's real fuzzy. Like, listen, people here are at different rates. I don't know that. I mean, I don't plan. I always look that way. And then if he, I've had guys that they say it's going to be a 4-month deal. It's a 3-month deal. I've had guys say it's a 3-month. That depends on how you heal and what your injury is. It's a significant injury. It's going to take significant time to heal. So I don't know the answer to that. I'm not trying to dodge it. If he's one of those guys who's a fast healer, but if he's not, I always would rather err on the side of preventing him from playing or whatever is the safest, the longest to make sure he's off the field for the right reason. This guy's got a lot of ball ahead of his lifetime, and what we do now is not worth any one guy's health. And so in that regard, I don't know the answer, but I think it's going to be significant time because I think that injury takes significant time to heal.
Go to the left and then Olin.
Howdy, Coach.
Howdy.
So you've talked in the past about how there are things that your team has to learn. Mm-hmm. And this last weekend, you guys learned how to beat the best. I know that you said you're not going to focus on that, but how important is that?
I'm going to focus on it, the reasons why we had success, just like the reasons you have failure. I mean, we all become, like you guys write an article on the outcome of a game, which is what you do, and fans were like that. I got to look at why the outcome of the game was good or bad. That's the reality we have to live in. So we're going to feature in our meetings the things we did well and why we did them well, so it allowed us to play. It's education. It's an educational process, just like you're teaching a student in school. And that's what we're doing here. We're teachers. And educate guys why you do it, get them to replicate it, and do it over and over again at the same level and have the same mindset and intensity and focus to do those things. So I'm not going to, in that it's Alabama, we beat Alabama, walk around with our chest out. That we played an opponent who was a very good opponent, and we had success. Now, why did we do it? So now we can go do it again at Missouri, at South Carolina, at Auburn, at Ole Miss, whoever we have left on the schedule, and that's what we're going to do.
We'll go to the right, Olin, and then to the back.
Jimbo, do you put much emphasis or do a lot of studying on your opponent's statistics while you're making a game plan? And I ask that because you always say,
oh, yeah. What their strengths, what their weaknesses are, what they do, what their percentage, their blitz percentages, their twist percentage. Everything. Listen, you guys say is there analytics. That's what analytics is. We've been analytical for as long as football's been around. Okay, we act like it's some new revelation that you're in. Everything they do. Are they strong against the run? Are they strong against the pass? Where do they give things up? What do they do? What's their blitz percentages? What's their by formation, by personnel, by field position, by down and distance, by time in the game on the clock, 2-minute, 4-minute, coming off the goal line, going in the goal line, red zone, tight zone, middle of the field in the shot areas and not in the shot area. All those things are taken into consideration when you call plays or game plan something up. And that's about half of them. Go ahead.
Yeah, I know it seemed obvious, but you talk about playing the nameless, faceless opponents, and I wonder just if it's more about, if you still do more about just focus on your own team.
No. When I say that, it doesn't matter whether you play Bryan High School, College Station High School, or you play Alabama. How you play is what I mean by that. Your standard of how you prepare and play does not matter on your opponent. That's what I mean. Your opponent's faceless. You can. Here's the only thing I can control in a game. Hopefully, and I can't. How our players control how they play and how they prepare and how they do things, and hopefully we're affecting that. And that's what I mean by that. Our standard of how we have to do things, which is not what the world says. You say they're favored by 90, they should win. They're an underdog by 20, they should lose. You can't rely on those things and who you play, what you play. It's how you play, the way you prepare. And you respect your opponent, good, bad, indifferent, by the preparation and the effort you give them within the game. And you respect them in the game by doing that, and your own teammates and your own organization. And that's what I mean by that. Your game plan is definitely based off everything they do, when they do it, why they do it, as much as you can decipher out of the information you have.
We'll go to the back.
I don't know if I'd answer your question, but it's a long way around.
Tyler,
We'd have
and
some
then
time
Mike.
anyway, didn't it?
Tyler, go ahead.
Coach, kind of going off just the game plan part of it. In the early week, just what are the strengths that Missouri presents that you guys are going to need to focus on this week?
Well, listen, they provide different pressures. They blitz. They play a lot. They mix up their coverages on defense, on offense. He does a great job. I mean, his running schemes, his counters, his stretches, his play action. He's a great trick play guy. He's always got eye violations and constant motions and things he does. They're very dynamic on offense. They're physical on defense. The front plays very hard. Linebackers can run. Secondary guys. They lost one corner here recently, but the safeties and they tackle well. They play very good at home. There's a ton of things we can go on and on and on about. I mean, and the special teams are good. I mean, Missouri is a good football team. I mean, they took Kentucky it was 28-28. If I'm there, there's another game they barely. It was in Tennessee. They had a bad outing in that game. Tennessee got ahead and got a jump on them, but every other game they had a chance to win the game, or they could be sitting there at 5-1, just as are the 3-3. Very much like us.
We'll stay to the back. Mike,
Coach, how difficult is it to avoid letting your team play up or down to their level of competition?
If they quit reading y'all, turn social media off, and listen to me, it wouldn't be hard at all. And do what they're told to do. It wouldn't be hard. But if they listen to y'all and listen to everybody pats them on the back and everybody at home and everybody tells them it becomes a tough thing. And I joke about that because that's to eliminate the clutter. Guys, you got to understand who to listen to. You got to understand what you're in the world you're in, and it takes maturity. It takes maturity. It takes leadership. It takes trust. It takes everything. And that's the hard part about everything you do with kids. I mean, and with grown-ups, everything you do. And that's the challenges. The people who can stay focused no matter who your opponent is. That's what I'm talking about. Your opponent's faceless. It's your standard based on nothing else. You match the standard.
we'll go to the right, Cole, and then to the left, Sam.
Jimbo, two quick ones for you. I think it's back-to-back weeks now that you haven't had a 3-and-out in the first half of the game. Just how important is it for you to start off fast to be able to get that advantage over a team like Alabama or really anybody?
It's critical. And the other thing is, even if you don't score points, you put your defense in a great situation. Even at Arkansas, we didn't do it. And because they, every time they started, they were back to 12, 15, 18-yard line. I mean, winning field, you do that things the right way, consistent. Now, they hit some big plays and made some plays in that game, which changed it early. But if you do those things, you're going to be rewarded more often than not. And listen, the game and life rewards things who are done right consistently. Now, I'm not saying that's not all of it. There's nothing's 100%. But if you consistently do the right things, you're going to get results you want. And that's my whole key with our team. You're going to get the results you want when the process of how you do things is right. And it doesn't matter even back when Dave played. The things coaches say, how long ago was that? Daggum. But I joke about that. But theoretically, they may say something a different way. But I'll bet you, if you ask him, the things his coaches said are still very relevant to the same things I say. I may say them a different way, a different thing. The reasons for those successes and how you have success really doesn't change. Times change, schemes change, all the other stuff. But at the end of the day, you're going to be rewarded if you consistently do the right thing. Don't give up 3-and-outs, and get 3-and-outs. Because not only do you get the ball back, sound of possession, you usually win a field position battle. You get momentum in the game. You can affect the guy's psyche in the game. All those types of things happen.
And then also I know injuries are a part of the game, but how important was it to get young players like Deuce and Tyreek and Edgerrin a lot of reps early on in conference play for the second half of the season?
Unfortunately, it was very important. I'd like to get it when I wanted to, not when I had to, but at the same time, that's the world. Listen, that's the world we live in. And there's not an excuse. That's our problem. And that's, like I say, pull up your pants, play big boy ball. I mean, that's it. But hopefully it's paying off, and we'll find out the second half. I hope they can.
On the left on the aisle, Sam, and then Brent.
Jimbo, why can Kenyon play so many positions effectively?
Because he understands conceptually. See, when you understand conceptually, it's like receivers. Why can Anais play running back? Why can he play in the slot? Why can he play outside? When you call a play, he knows what all the receivers are doing and understands what you're trying to attack. When you call Kenyon a blocking scheme up front, whether the technique is changing, and that's challenging, very challenging, and he's a very talented guy with the physical ability and his mental ability, but he understands conceptually what's going on within the play, which allows you to move. You're not memorizing. When you memorize, it's hard, man. And that's the way certain guys have to learn. Certain guys memorize their job, and that's it. Other guys can understand the whole conceptual concept of that. And I've had quarterbacks who really conceptually can't understand the whole read of the field. And we're great players. And there's guys in the Hall of Fame that did the same thing in the NFL that didn't understand the whole concept, but you give them half a field read and tell them what to do, and their arm down. But then other guys can understand the whole big picture. And I think Kenyon really understands conceptually what he has to do across the board based off what we do. And that allows him to be moved.
I know you do what's best for your team, but where do you think he fits best or is most comfortable?
Good question. With him, you know what he's going to tell you? Wherever the team needs me. And that's not cliches. He is the most selfless, one of the most selfless great players I've ever been around as far as his willingness to do whatever his team needs him to do when he does. And I mean, when I say there ain't even one of these, gosh, dang, coach, can I just, one time, you think you'd get one of those. Okay. Yes, sir. He's a throwback in what he does. So, I think he's a tackle. I do because his arms and length, but he has power and there's very few people that can have the ability to play at those positions and do well. I mean, that's that great. And all he's doing now is increasing his value at the next level, in my opinion, because people are going to see him at different things, and you have to do that. And up there, you can't find linemen, guys. Offensive linemen, and you only keep 8 on a rotation in the NFL that are active at the time. And you got a guy that can play all 2 or 3 positions or 4 positions. The value of his stock goes through the roof.
And I know you just said you didn't want to have to. You didn't want to do it when you wanted to, but not when you had to. But how hard is it for guys like Bryce and Deuce as a true freshman to do what they're doing in the SEC?
In this league, it's unbelievable. It really is. And I've had freshmen do it, and one guy do it, and you're around a bunch of veterans. But not the multitude of guys in the way they're having to do it. I mean, it's a heck of a deal. The injuries have hurt us, and what we've had to do and had to put them in situations, unfortunately, I don't want to put them in, but I've got to put them in. And they have been unbelievably tough, mentally tough. The part of it is the mental preparation and toughness and the fortitude to go through that pressure and knowing that everything is going to revolve off you making your blocks because that allows the skill guys to play. It's been amazing. And making all the calls, what Bryce and those guys are doing, it's been amazing. Absolutely amazing. A lot of respect for those guys. Tough.
Down front, Brent, and then Cease and Zach, you'll wrap us up.
You've mentioned social media a couple of times lately in the past couple of weeks, and I see my kids looking at screens more and more. It becomes a constant battle.
Just wait, it's going to be worse.
So what? Yeah. So my question is, what are the answers? What can be done about that moving forward?
I don't know. Get Congress to knock it out. Get Congress to take it away. I mean, I don't. I mean, I think it's the damnation of everything, good, bad, and different. I mean, I do. I'm not. I don't. I understand the value of it, and there's importance to it. Don't get me wrong, but it's a part of, and where I hurts for players is the mental health, because people. It matters what people say about you. You say it doesn't, but it does. It affects everybody, and what people say about kids. And I get that's their right to do it. I'm not saying that, but you got to eliminate. You can't turn it on and watch it if you can possibly do it, and that's the only answer I know, is live in a cocoon.
Did you ever give social media a try, MySpace or anything like that?
I've never had nothing.
Okay.
Nothing. And if you ever say I can't turn the computer on, I can't get to it, and I'm not joking.
Must be nice.
Listen, and emails I read. I don't send emails. I get texts and I get messages. If you can't talk to me like that or come see me, we ain't gonna communicate.
To the left.
It's maybe old school, but it keeps it simple. And I'm not interested in telling everybody what I'm doing or what my life. I mean, I like having my time.
2 things, Jimbo. What were the defensive delays calls? And is Jameer Johnson, was it because of team rules that he didn't play Saturday? Is that right?
Yeah, and we had some rotational things. Yes.
Okay.
But it's the same thing. All right. They said before the game, it's the first time I've ever heard it. We can't clap. And I said, okay, they're making a clap because that's their cadence. Well, they didn't even use a clapping cadence. They were just tapping on the guard, so I don't understand why that was I've never had that said to me before a game ever. Well, then 2, Damani was trying to get somebody's attention because it was a little bit loud. And when you're on defense, that's where all the noise is. And he was I understand. I thought it was his second level. I don't understand a third level. I promise you couldn't hear from me to this cup or this bottle right here in that game. And so I get that. The second one, we did this. We were making a chop. It was a signal. We were not clapping. So that's the one I got a real problem. I get the other, but that was a third level deal because Damani was playing safety. It wasn't, they couldn't hear it up there. And plus, they weren't using a clapping cadence anyway. So I'm going to try to get that cleared up today. And I'm not to make sure what we did, because you tell me that, and if we got things that are doing, and we're doing this as a signal, and that's not clapping. On a 3rd and 8, on the 20-yard line going in at a critical part of the game, and you're doing this, that ain't clapping. So we'll find out.
Well, go down front, Zach, you'll wrap us up.
Good question. Thank you.
I'm not going to ask
Somebody
you.
would have said, you set that up for me. I set that up for you, but I didn't.
Not going to ask you any questions about that, Coach. But obviously the turnovers were big on Saturday. It'd been a little bit
getting the fumble and getting the out of the end, that was critical.
Yeah, it'd
and
been
unfortunately we had one.
Yeah, it had been a little bit of a dry spell for you guys on turnovers,
Yes.
though. So how imperative is that moving forward to
It's
keep
critical.
that going?
Listen, turnovers number one, big plays number two, are as big on your outcomes of your games as there is. Period. Then you get into third down, you get into red zone conversions and all those things, and that's cool. Really, we had two because you count the block punt. I count the block punt as a turnover in that regard. Now, we got it back on the other, but still, that can't happen. But turnovers affect the outcome of a game greater than anything. Then it gets into big plays, being able to hit plays, and like we did offensively. But they hit theirs, and that's where then you get into, okay, they hit big plays. Can you, as I say, minimize the damage? Great red zone, tight zone defense to make somebody kick a field goal or miss a field goal or allow you to get a turnover, which we did in the game. When they did get the big plays, because they take a lot of them, and we did too. It's all right because the old offense, it's the same thing. Do the same things. We were able to minimize the damage in the red zone, tight zone, and get them to field goals, and that's a big part. Then that becomes big. Then you get your third down conversion, getting third down, which we were very good on in the game, and they did a good job too. So those are a factor, but turnovers, man, and we got to get more of them. We got to keep getting them.
All right, Coach. Thanks for your time.
Thank you, guys.